You're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network of podcasts.
Before the internet, before cell phones, before rollerblades, there was a time.
Everybody on the dance floor. Very nice, Grandma Molly.
When Robbie Hart was the most popular wedding singer around.
You spin me right round, baby, right round. Like a record, baby, right round, round, round. Hey, somebody get some pants on that kid.
Until he got stood up at his own wedding.
I woke up this morning and I realized I'm about to marry a wedding singer.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
New Line Cinema presents.
Is it true that you're in the middle of a nervous breakdown?
Whoopity-doo!
Adam Sandler.
Hey, Psycho, get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
And Drew Barrymore.
You're the wedding singer.
How you doing? I'm Robbie.
I'm Julia.
In a story about finding love where you least expect it.
Uh-oh. What? You like her? No, I don't.
This is my fiancé, Glenn.
I don't even know your last name. It's Gulia. Julia's last name's gonna be Gulia. Julia Gulia. That's funny. Why is that funny? I don't know. I just...
Now, the girl of his dreams is about to marry Mr. Wrong.
That's grade A, top choice meat.
Good morning.
You can make breakfast from bed?
Unless he can pull off the performance of a lifetime.
She and Glenn just jumped a plane to Vegas. Go get her.
All right.
You're thinking of leaving Glenn for the wedding singer?
He's more than a lover.
What do you think of the jacket? I don't know, man. I would lose that glove. You look nuts.
He's more than a legend.
You are the worst wedding singer in the world, buddy.
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
The Wedding Singer.
I said hip hop, a hip to the hip to the hip hip hop. You don't stop the rock to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boot to the rhythm of the rhythm beat.
Hello and welcome to the 63rd episode of the M-Wire. I am TFG and Mike and I'm joined by Steve Megatron. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Today we're going to be continuing Volume 1 of the Sandler Spotlight with The Wedding Singer. So how are you, sir?
Good.
That's good.
Voice is coming back.
Yay.
Nice. I'm quite pumped. Still a little froggy in my throat, but not by much. It's mostly my nose now that's the last issue.
Yeah.
But I'm almost back to normal. It's great.
Yeah. You better hurry up and get back to normal, because if not, you know, I don't know if you've seen Twitter at all lately, but Wilson's really been laying into you.
You know what? I'm going to have field day with Wilson this week. Field day, I tell you. Just wait till Thursday.
Oh, boy. Yeah, there's not much going on with me. I've been recording and pre-recording a bunch of episodes. We just finished recording Tooncast 77 last night. I recorded Tooncast 80 with a couple of the guys from the Pop Culture Network. When did we do that? Yeah, Saturday afternoon. So there's that. Just, you know, the usual stuff. So I guess getting right into it, The Wedding Singer is a 1998 romantic comedy film written by Tim Herlihy and directed by Frank Coraci. Whatever. It stars Adam Sandler as a wedding singer in the 1980s, and Drew Barrymore as a waitress with whom he falls in love. The film was later adapted into a stage musical with the same title, debuting on Broadway in early 2006 and closing on New Year's Eve. Wow. Okay.
And one guy, his name actually made it famous out of that whole Broadway version.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's a comedian that does all of his comedy in the form of song. And his name is Stephen Lynch. He's actually from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that guy. I've heard of that guy. I was thinking that you might have meant someone like more breakout recently, because I just watched, I caught the other night on, I don't normally watch Comedy Central, but I will if they have like a good movie on, or if there's a comic on there that I know, but there was nothing really on the other night, so I turned it on, and there's this guy named Bo Burnham, and he does this weird singing bit where he's at a piano and he's banging on the keys or all these different notes and just basically turns like random sayings or random words that he has into song, and it's like, wow. Oh boy.
Well, Stephen Lynch at least sounds hilarious because they start out soft and happy and they get dark.
Right.
Or they're dark from the start.
Right. Well, this guy sounded really good as well, and I mean, all the stuff he was singing / saying his words were, it was rhyming and all that. So I mean, I'm not saying it was bad, but that's just the first thing I thought of. So, when did you first see Wedding Singer?
Unlike the previous film, I did see this one before being with my wife. I don't know, I liked it just because Adam Sandler did a lot of singing in it, which I'm not a big one for singing movies, but this particular film was one that I could do, just because some of the time he sang and it was hilarious, or like when he was drunk at the party,
yeah,
and screwed up the wedding,
yep,
reception, and where he had his whatever you call it, man-woman thing.
Oh God!
On stage.
That was the only part that I could not watch.
It was funny because it sang one song.
Yep.
One song. That's it.
And I cannot watch that because I do not like Boy George, nor do I like Culture Club, so...
I like where they had, I don't know, there was a lot of funny-ass scenes in it, and, it's your typical Adam Sandler, Tim Hurley film.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very, very good. So getting into the plot really quick here, we've got, in 1985, Robbie Hart, played by Sandler, is a wedding singer from Ridgefield, New Jersey, engaged to his longtime girlfriend Linda, played by Angela Featherstone. He meets and befriends a waitress, Julia Sullivan, played by Drew Barrymore, and at the reception hall where he regularly performs. Julia is also engaged to a businessman, Glenn Guglia, played by Matthew Glave. That's the worst last name. Oh boy. On his wedding day, Robbie is devastated when Linda leaves him standing at the altar and later explains it was because he didn't want to continue his singing career. Robbie tries to move forward with his life, but despair hinders his performances. Julia tries to cheer him up and later asks him to help her plan her own wedding. Initially reluctant, Robbie eventually agrees, and their friendship blossoms during the double date between Julia, Glenn, and Robbie and Julia's cousin, Holly, played by Christine Taylor. Robbie learns that Glenn is excessively cheating on Julia and doesn't plan to stop after being married. What a jackass.
Jackass! Thank you from previous film.
Exactly. Julia and Robbie are increasingly confused by their deepening feelings for each other, and Robbie labors under the misapprehension that an adult job will impress Julia. She becomes angry with him for assuming that she is marrying Glenn for his money. After confiding in his best friend, Sammy, played by Alan Covert, Robbie finally decides to confess his true feelings and heads to Julia's house. When he arrives, he sees her through her bedroom window. Julia is wearing her wedding dress and happily imagining herself as Robbie's wife. But Robbie mistakenly believes that she is looking forward to marrying Glenn. Oh boy. Heartbroken, Robbie leaves to get drunk and finds Glenn in the midst of his pre-bachelor party. After a heated exchange, Glenn punches Robbie, and intoxicated Robbie goes home, finds Linda waiting for him, and wanting to reconcile. Robbie passes out the following morning. Linda answers the door and introduces herself as Robbie's fiancée to a crestfallen Julia. Julia runs to Glenn, wanting to be married immediately, and Glenn happily offers to take her to Las Vegas. I think it's the beginning. It's the scene where Linda seduces Robbie. The next morning, Robbie wakes up like, what the hell happened or whatever, and he's like, get out of here and take off my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
And they did break up that year. So it was a funny nod to history, too.
I don't know. A lot of this movie, I remember, obviously, but that's just one line that has really stuck with me over the years.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Because he's like, hey, psycho, why don't you take off my Van Halen t-shirt before you curse the band and they break up? That was just so awesome. Robbie awakens and promptly breaks it off with Linda for good. Inspired by the 50th wedding anniversary of his friend Rosie, to whom he's been giving singing lessons, Robbie decides to pursue Julia, and just then Holly arrives telling him of Julia's plans. Robbie, Sammy, and Holly rush to the airport where Robbie books a flight to Las Vegas. His ticket is first class because the coach seats are sold out. After telling his story to a sympathetic audience in first class, which includes Billy Idol playing himself, sporting his 80s trademark spiked hairdo and biker attire, Robbie learns that Glenn and Julia are on the exact same flight. Over the loudspeaker, with the help of Idol and the flight crew, Robbie sings a song he has written called Grow Old With You, which he has dedicated to Julia. When he enters the coach area, Glenn tries to attack him, only for his path to be blocked by a flight attendant and Idol pushing refreshment carts. When Glenn threatens Idol, a burly Idol fan forces Glenn down the aisle, and another flight attendant pushes him into the cabin toilet. Robbie and Julia admit their love for each other, and after Idol briefly interrupts them to offer Robbie support in fulfilling his dream of being a songwriter, they share a kiss. The film ends and the scene fades to a similar kiss, this time at their wedding. This was, even though see, I don't have a problem with this movie as I guess it is a musical, but it's a musical comedy more than like those generic, female musical movies that most girls like. But the good thing about this one is it's all 80s stuff, and I loved that about it.
One of the funny things I liked was not only the 80s music, it's just the whole goofy 80s style.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have little nods to more 80s stuff, like when John Lovitz comes in there.
Yeah.
There's Jimmy Moore, and then he has the whole 80s attire. And then he starts singing like one of them.
Yep.
And I thought that scene was pretty funny because he thought he was hot shit. I don't know. There's just a lot of it that was pretty funny between Adam Sandler singing scenes, him helping plan the wedding, which he got close to her. There was just a lot of ironies in it too. I mean, between Billy Idol and the Van Halen T-shirt.
Yep.
It's an overall good movie.
I mean, let's face it. Even today, everybody is all about 80s nostalgia. Whether it's movies, music, cartoons, TV, whatever. I mean, look how many 80s remakes there have been in the last 2.5 years now. You got Knight Rider, Hawaii Five-0, Rockford Files, which failed. But, Bionic Woman, I mean, for people who said that they didn't really care for the 80s and whatever else, that's bullshit. I'm sure that there are a lot of things in the 80s, like maybe some of the politics and stuff like that, and, parachute pants. Other than that, I don't see anything wrong with the 80s, and almost everything nowadays is 80s retro stuff. I'm just waiting for there to be, a chain of Cafe 80s restaurants to open up.
That would be awesome.
And for
we got 50s, let's keep going.
And for those of you who got that reference, yeehaw. It's Wild Gunman. But, getting into the cast here, Adam Sandler, obviously.
Future, yeah.
What?
Back to the Future, the 80s.
Yes.
Cafe.
Exactly. Cafe 80s, yep. Adam Sandler as Robbie Hart. What did you think of Adam's performance as Robbie in this?
It was a nice role to see him in because it wasn't just a comedy role; it was a serious too. Probably giving him one of his first more serious roles over Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to see him do that. I mean, and it's one of my more favorite of his serious-like roles.
Yeah.
Unlike some later ones.
And then the chemistry he has with Barrymore is just amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they, again, even if it's different characters, still react very similar in a future movie.
Yep. Most of the other cast, obviously Glenn is supposed to be the jackass and, you know, the cheating moron, and
Well, he filled the void of Shooter McGavin.
yeah, that's true, but I think Shooter did it better.
Oh yeah, well, that particular actor always does it better.
Well, yeah. And honestly, the rest of the, like, I mean, Billy Idol, it's Billy Idol, for Christ's sake. I mean, what can you really say about the guy? I don't remember the Mr. Sims character, Kevin Nealon's character, at all.
He pretty much, he's got usually like a one-shot.
I know Kevin does, but what I'm saying is I don't remember the Mr. Sims character at all. Oh, man. Oh, well.
I'm trying to remember that particular character.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember him in this film.
Yeah, and then you got, as you said, John Lovitz as Jimmy Moore.
And which is hilarious, too.
Yep.
You get Steve Buscemi, who's in a lot of Sandler's films.
Yep.
Which he again plays the crazy and zany character, drinking himself to death. You have Alan Covert, who he actually he wasn't in Billy Madison, but he was in Happy Gilmore, which surprised me. Despite just having watched it.
Yeah.
I realized it was his bum caddy.
Oh!
I was watching it again yesterday just for the fun of it, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, that guy looks familiar. And then he spoke, and I was like, oh, well, that's a no-brainer. And, yeah, so that was pretty funny to see him actually in that. So he actually showed up a little bit earlier than what I thought. I thought this was one of his first films with Sandler, and it wasn't.
Yeah. I guess we can talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack, actually there was 2 soundtracks for it, which featured most of the songs from the movie, but it didn't include all of the renditions of it. And obviously, let's see. I'm not gonna list through all this. I'll put the wiki link in the description so people can see.
Well,
but
we enlist like some of the ones that actually like were in it. I mean, they had the Boy George song, of course. They had the Billy Idol. They had all of Adam Sandler's songs.
Yep.
Probably one of his funniest ones in the film was "Somebody Kill Me."
Yeah. I don't think Somebody Killed Me is on here, though.
It is.
Is it?
On the first, it's on the first album.
Oh yeah, it is. And then "Grow Old with You" is on the Volume 2 album.
Yep. But yeah, they did have a lot of the songs in there. I mean, of course, they were still missing enough that they could have made a third album, but
yeah.
Regardless, it didn't really need one.
Well, I mean, some of the songs that were in the movie but not included in the soundtrack, like you said, there are enough to make a third album, but I guess maybe album sales for the first 2 didn't really do all that well, which I don't know why it wouldn't.
No, but at that time, people were just getting over the 80s. They didn't really want to think about it.
Well,
which is lame.
Yes, very, very lame. As far as the reception, it had a budget of $21 million and made $123 million or so in ticket sales. The film was a big commercial success. The movie opened in the number 2 spot with $18,865,000 in the United States, behind Titanic. Oh, well, duh.
Well, I think Titanic robbed it. It should have came out a different week.
Well, let's face it, I don't think anything could have stopped Titanic back then.
Avatar did.
Well, I said back then.
So, same director killed it.
Well, yeah, but he's breaking his own record. Whatever, I don't care. I
know.
It's a damn movie. Fuck Avatar.
Well, this film, being directed by Frank Coraci, also directed Sandler's next film, The Waterboy.
Oh, cool.
Which is interesting. Sandler seems to get a lot of the same directors and writers back for his future films, which is another cool thing, so it kind of keeps in the Sandler-verse vibe.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like I said. I think I said it last episode with Happy Gilmore, or I might have said it with the Billy Madison episode. He likes working with people that he has worked with in the past, so anytime he has a chance to, throw Steve Buscemi a, wild-eyed bone or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whoever. I mean, look, they...
I mean, if you had the chance to give your friends a job, I mean, you would too.
Exactly.
Especially because you get a bunch of goofy moments. I mean, you can tell there's spots in any of his movies that one of his previous castmates from Saturday Night Live or somebody he's working with, it makes him smile or laugh or something, to the point that he gets into the movie regardless, just because he can't keep his cool. I mean, it's one of those old, goes back to Saturday Night Live moments when him and Farley would be in a scene, and Farley would say something and have a straight face, and Sandler would just start smirking.
Yep. Yeah. So overall, The Wedding Singer is something people should have in their DVD or online media collection. It's a very good film. There wasn't really any plot holes. There wasn't any loose ends. It just beginning, middle, end. That's it.
And it's a good romantic comedy as well as an 80s throwback at the same time.
Yep. So I guess that's it, right?
The other thing I had a little beef was in the film was they had a CD player in it.
Mm-hmm.
Did they actually have CD players in the 80s? Like in 85?
No.
Okay, because Glenn in the movie brings a boombox with a CD player in it.
Didn't he say something about he got it in Japan?
He may have.
Wasn't that? I think that was the line. It was something about because we don't know. I don't even think we ever really figure out what Glenn does. He's some sort of commodities trader or something or other.
That's what he said he did, but
right. Yeah, he's some sort of business person who deals with stocks and bonds and deals with all that. I think the line was, yeah. Check this out. It's brand new technology. I just got it back from Japan or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, they actually did.
Yeah.
In 1982, it came out at the Japanese Audio Fair
by
Sony.
So See, I don't.
So they had their facts right.
Yeah. There was. Well,
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Now that I'm remembering, my mom had a big old stereo system, and it had a single disc tray CD player back in the 80s. So that was like 87, 88. So, but yeah, it was just coming in. I mean, it was kind of like Beta was like the beginning of the 80s, like late 70s, beginning of the 80s, and then VHS took over. And same thing with, records and LPs and all that with vinyl. Vinyl was going out, cassettes were coming in, and then cassettes were going out, and CDs were coming in. So it was like right at the tail end of the 80s that it got to America. So they did get their facts right.
Yes, they did.
Thank you for joining us here on MWire Movie Weekend Review. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRN MWire, all one word. Mine is TFG and Mike. What is your Twitter?
SCP-21.
Become a fan on Facebook. Facebook.com/GeekCastRadioNetwork. We are still running that Facebook fan page contest. We are currently at 145 fans, I think. If you help us get to 300, we will give away 2 Stan Bush prize pack. They each include a signed CD of Stan's new album, Dream the Dream, and a T-shirt.
Yes.
Call the voicemail line. Tell us.
Join the voicemail line.
Shut up. Call the voicemail line. Tell us what you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of MWire and wish you'll join us next time. We'll be continuing in the Sandler Spotlight, Volume 1, The Water Boy. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Steve Megatron Phillips.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Okay, I just want to warn you that when I wrote this song, I was listening to The Cure a lot, so...
Okay.
Here we go. You don't know how much I need you while you're near me. I don't feel blue, and when we kiss, I know you need me too. I can't believe I found a love that's so pure and true. But it all was bullshit. It was a goddamn joke. And when I think of you, Linda, I hope you fucking choke. Hope you're glad with what you've done to me. I lay in bed all day long, feeling melancholy. You left me here all alone, tears running constantly. Oh, somebody kill me, please. Somebody kill me, please. I'm on my knees. Pretty, pretty, please. Kill me. I want to die. Put a bullet in my head.
I liked it.
He's losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're flying at 26,000 feet, moving up to 30,000 feet, and we got clear skies all the way to Las Vegas. And right now, we're bringing you some in-flight entertainment. One of our first-class passengers would like to sing you a song inspired by one of our coach passengers. And since we let our first-class passengers do pretty much whatever they want, here he is.
Make you smile whenever you're sad. Carry you around when your arthritis is bad. All I wanna do is grow old with you. I'll get you medicine when your tummy aches. Build you a fire if the furnace breaks. Oh, it could be so nice growing old with you. I'll miss you, kiss you, give you my coat when you are cold. Need you, feed you, you hold the remote control.
What the hell's that fruit doing here?
Get out of the way! Excuse me, sir, I have to serve the beverages.
How you doing, sir? Chicken or fish?
You better get out of my way, Billy. You're gonna get hurt.
Oh, yeah?
Don't you talk to Billy Idol that way.
So let me do the dishes in our kitchen sink. Put you to bed when you've had too much to drink. Oh, I could be the man who grows old with you. I wanna grow with you.
That was the most beautiful song.
I got a confession to make. That song is about you. I'm in love with you.
I am so in love with you.